The 2011 College Football Bowl season is ready to get underway today from Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's the 8-4 Temple Owls out of the MAC facing the Wyoming Cowboys from the Mountain West, also 8-4. From University Stadium in Albuquerque, it's the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. And this is where the College Football Bowl season kicks off. The first of 35 postseason games, 33 of which will air on ABC or ESPN, including all 5 BCS Bowls. It all concludes January 9th in New Orleans with the All-State BCS National Title game, Alabama and LSU on ESPN. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Albuquerque and the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. Alongside my partner, former Michigan quarterback Brian Griese, I'm Clay Matvick. And Griese, you were lucky enough to be a part of 5 bowl seasons. What's the bowl experience all about?
Well, first off, we got to say happy holidays to everybody at home and happy bowl season now with those games coming up on our networks. But this is the best time of year, not just because of the holidays, but for a college football player, the bowl game is the quintessential end of the season. And your finals are over, classes are out, and this is an opportunity for about 20% of these players, the last time that they will play college football. So it'll be an emotional end to a game. I expect their best effort.
It's going to be an interesting dichotomy in our first bowl game of the season. You got Temple from the east, Wyoming from the west, 2 teams that were not in the bowl picture last year here in New Mexico. Wyoming playing in this bowl game for the second time in 3 years. Wyoming in brown and white. Temple in white. Temple will receive, and the bowl season is underway. It's a squib kick from the Cowboys, and it's going to work out well for them. Picked up at the 10-yard line by Matt Brown, and he is dumped at the 9. Well, the weakness of special teams on the Wyoming side has been the kickoff team. They said they were going to squib a lot, and this time it worked out.
Yeah, very dangerous play. Almost a turnover early in the game, but Chris Coyer, the quarterback now for Temple in his 4th start of the season, an opportunity to come out on offense and get a rhythm going, but they're backed up at their own 10-yard line.
Started the last 3 regular season games, all wins for the Owls. Here's our first play from scrimmage, and it's a handoff to Bernard Pierce, an All-American. Main reason the Temple has the nation's 7th best run game at 257 yards per game.
Yeah, and Bernard Pierce is 125 of that every single game. And this is a tough, physical running back that plays behind a tough, physical offensive line. And this is the motto of the Temple Owls this year, Temple Tough. Steve Adazio in his first year, he wanted to create that discipline and that mental toughness and the attitude. And this offense is emblematic of that in the way that they operate downhill power running game.
8-4 overall, 5-3 in the MAC. They finished 2nd in the MAC East. 3rd straight year of 8 wins or more. That's a first for Temple football. The southpaw looking to throw now, steps up to run, and it looks like he's got enough for a first down. A gain of 5 for Coyer, and the Owls move the chains for the first time. There is Steve Adazio, the first-year head coach for the Temple Owls, hired after Al Golden got the job at Miami. He was the offensive coordinator at Florida last year, and this is his first head coaching job, and he's done a wonderful job in year 1.
He's done a great job, and he was the beneficiary, you got to be honest, of a lot of hard work from Al Golden in laying the foundation. But this season has not been easy for the Temple Owls. They've had their ups and downs, and Steve Adazio has been able to level the playing field.
First down and 10 for the Owls on their opening possession. Coyer sets to throw deep downfield. They don't throw a lot. Trying to hit the home run on that play. It's incomplete, intended for Joe Jones, the leading wideout for the Owls.
I think you saw there, they wanted to get their first down of the game, get out of the shadow of their own goalpost, and when they did that, they wanted to take a shot down the field. You're going to see about 75% of the time this Temple team will run the football. That's their MO, that's their bread and butter. They'll do it downhill, as we said, but they'll also get into a perimeter running game with number 22, Matt Brown. You see him flanked down to the bottom of your screen. He's the X factor in this offense.
His nickname is the Bug. He's the change of pace back for the Owls, and he'll get it. Nifty move, and he makes something out of what could have been a potential loss, a gain of 2. for Temple. Brian Hendricks, the weak side linebacker for Wyoming, makes the tackle to bring up third down.
Yeah, Brian Hendricks is a big key for Wyoming defensively today. They've got a tall task against this style of a running team. Wyoming coming into the game, giving up 230 yards on the ground as a defense. That's 115th in the nation. And Brian Hendricks has got to get this team motivated to stop the run first.
Marty English, the defensive coordinator, says it's going to be 8 and 9 in the box on most plays. Coyer on third down, rolling out. He's going to run, and he's got enough for a first down. Nifty play by Chris Coyer, the sophomore out of Oak Hill, Virginia, picks up 10, and Temple will move the sticks again.
This is the element that Chris Coyer brings to the equation that Steve Adazio and Scott Leffler, the offensive coordinator, love. When the play breaks down, he's got the ability to get outside the pocket and beat you with his feet. He's rushed now on the season for almost 500 yards and 3 touchdowns, so he's got the ability to burn you on the ground.
4 running plays, 1 pass so far on this drive. Very much to what the MO is for these Owls. Pierce in the backfield. And he'll get it. And a good run on first down out across the 40. Gain of 6 yards. The strong safety Luke Ruff makes the stop. Let's take a look at the impact players.
Well, we've talked a lot about Bernard Pierce. He is the guy on this offense that is most ready for the NFL. He's a guy that'll make a team somewhere and contribute, in my opinion. On the other side, Evan Rodriguez, the tight end, he is the key to this offense and where the football goes. He'll line up anywhere in the set, and he'll get the ball on nakeds, and he'll also be one of the blockers. And defensively, Deshaun Gibson has got to have a big game stopping the running game for Wyoming.
Pierce straight ahead. Helmet comes off. And that's going to be a gain of a couple of yards on the play. It'll bring up third down and manageable for Temple. Helmet coming off for Wayne Tribute, the 4-year starter at right guard.
This is an offensive line that averages over 315 pounds, and they are massive, but they're also very athletic. They're able to get on the outside in formations and block perimeter runs. They've been impressive this year.
4 seniors and a junior up there. Third down and 2. Pierce. And he is going to be stopped short of the first down. Hendricks coming up. Sonny Pulatasi also stepping up to make the stop for Wyoming. And it'll bring up a situation here where Steve Adazio has to make a choice.
This is a great job by the Wyoming defensive front. 3rd and 2. And they know coming into this game that they're going to have to make some of these stops. And you see Pulatasi and a host of other Wyoming players able to bring up 4th down.
They're going to go for it. 4th and 1 from the 44. Pierce. First down. Bernard Pierce. Speculation is this might be his last game at Temple. May declare for the NFL draft. He's got a ton of talent.
Well, this is just an attitude call. They run their bread and butter, just a power play right up the gut. Wyoming knew what was coming, but Steve Adazio says this is an attitude opportunity for us. First drive of the game in our own territory on 4th down. They go for it and get it.
First down, Temple. Coyer, play fake. Man, play down to the 10-yard line. Kenny Browder finally brought him down, but it's a gain of 41, and Temple's knocking on the door.
Well, when you run the football as effectively as Temple does, the play-action game has a lot of sting. Watch the linebackers suck up, and as soon as they suck up, they are beat. And Rodriguez, we talked about him, he not only contributes in the running game, but watch him get off the line of scrimmage and run. It reminds me a lot of Tony Gonzalez with the way he runs and the way that he catches the football.
Longest pass play of the year for Coyer. Now Pierce again. And he's down to about the 1.5-yard line, a gain of 9. Jones, the middle linebacker, made the stop.
Temple has been impressive all season, Clay, on opening drives. They've scored on 8 out of their 12 games on the opening drive. It has a lot to do with how well they mix play action with this running game. And when they get inside the red zone, this running game is hard to stop.
High backfield. Pierce again trying to finish off the drive. Stood up. He's going to be close to a first down, though. Gabe Napton, the defensive end. Hard-nosed player on the edge for Wyoming, makes the tackle, number 52.
That was a great play by Napton. Played off the block. He's a former linebacker that's playing as a defensive end now. There's a lot of guys on this Wyoming defense that have had to switch positions because they just don't have enough size, and Napton is one of them. They tried to play him as a 3 technique earlier in the year, but they moved him back out to end, and he's had a tremendous season.
10th in tackles among active players nationally, 362 after that one. And it is going to be a first down. So first down and goal to go for Temple. An impressive opening drive here in the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. 13th play of the drive coming up. Steve Addazio, the Connecticut native, back in the Northeast now. They love him in Philadelphia. Coyer away from center, gives to Pierce. Touchdown, Owls. Big punch in the mouth from the boys from Philly. '26th rushing touchdown this year for Bernard Pierce.
That drive was very clear that Steve Addazio and this Temple Owl football team wanted to continue to establish their attitude in this game and not allow Wyoming to feel like they can stop this running game in any way, shape, or form.
Brandon McManus for the extra point. 7-0 Temple. Bernard Pierce, Temple's all-time leading scorer, very impressive on the drive.
Well, they go for it on 4th down in their own end and then play action over the top. The mix of those two things, that can be deadly. Wyoming's got to figure it out.
Welcome back to the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. 7-0 Temple, an impressive opening drive. 13 plays, 90 yards, just over 6 minutes. 11 running plays, and Bernard Pierce, the star of that Temple offense, rammed it in.
Well, and as we talked with the Wyoming coaches yesterday, they said, you know, we understand who we are and how we're going to be able to try to slow down this Temple running game. We're not going to be able to stop it. We've just got to be able to make them go an extended amount of time on drives. They did that there, but they gave up the touchdown.
Well, Brandon McManus kicks it out of bounds for Temple. Let's go down to the third member of our team, Olympic gold medalist Jessica Mendoza.
Coach Christensen of Wyoming knows the advantages and the disadvantages of playing and training at a higher elevation. Wyoming at 7,200 feet coming down here to Albuquerque at 5,000 feet gives them a huge advantage. Higher amounts of oxygen transport throughout the body, giving them higher endurance and lower fatigue. Temple, on the other hand, has the reverse effect, and that is why Bernard Pierce, after that last touchdown, has an oxygen tank here on the sideline.
First play, it's an option pitch. Brett Smith firing it out to Brandon Miller. And it's a gain of 4 for Wyoming on their first play from scrimmage. You played in Denver for the Broncos. Altitude, is that overestimated sometimes?
Well, it can certainly affect you, there's no doubt. But the only way it's going to affect Temple is if Wyoming is able to keep an up-tempo style of offense and make this a track meet, score a lot of points. If they can't get anything going on offense, it's not going to have a real effect on Temple.
First series for the Cowboys, 2nd down at 6. Smith, the Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year at the controls. Also the team MVP. He'll run, and he is a good running quarterback. This is going to be close to a first down, maybe a yard short. John Ubodi stops him as we take a look at the impact plays.
Well, you could argue that Brett Smith had probably the best freshman season for a quarterback in Mountain West Conference history. He has done it all for the Cowboys, and they'll need him again today. On defense for Temple, they're a pretty good defense, and Tahir Whitehead, the linebacker, is one of the leaders for them defensively. Got a lot of talent, along with the middle linebacker, Steven Johnson, who had 113 tackles this year. Those two guys are going to be chasing Brett Smith all over the field.
3rd down and 1 for Wyoming. Smith throws. It's complete to Mazi Akbana. And it's going to be close to the marker. He's one of Wyoming's most improved players at the receiver spot. 14 receivers with at least 1 catch on this Wyoming offense. They may need a measurement here. No, he didn't get it. It's going to bring up 4th down.
I think Dave Christensen's going to go for it just like Steve Adazio did on the previous drive. He's going to match the intensity and attitude early in this game.
Almost same spot on the field. Temple converted theirs. Smith under center. He'll take it himself, and it's a first down. He is a leader. Captain for this game, even though he's a freshman. Dave Christensen, the third-year head coach. Found out today he's going to get a 5-year contract extension. It's been agreed to in principle there at Wyoming. He really has a lot of confidence in his rookie quarterback.
Well, and it was a great turnaround, great coaching job by Dave Christensen. As you mentioned, 3-9 a year ago. And for them to go 5-2 in the Mountain West, the only two teams they lost to in conference, pretty good teams, Boise State and TCU. The rest of the games, Wyoming won. They beat Air Force, they beat San Diego State, Colorado State. They had a great year in conference.
After the first down, Smith throws, and it's complete at the 45-yard line. The Owls swarm to make the tackle. It's a gain of 4.
You know, Clay, as I watched Brett Smith on tape this year, I saw him grow with each and every game. He's very, very talented with his arm and his legs, but his competitiveness is really what sets him apart. His coaches say that he's insanely competitive. In fact, they got to pull him back sometimes from trying to run over defenders.
Smith sprinting out to Alvester Alexander, and he's got some room. Check that, that's Brandon Miller. And he's got it down to the 25-yard line. A gain of 19, first down, Wyoming.
Wyoming has been able to score points this season. They're averaging 27 points in each game they play. And the element of the option is something that's really helped them. Brandon Miller was a wide receiver for a number of games. And then when their best running back, Muhammad, got hurt, they moved him back to running back. And now he's making plays for them all over the field in the option game.
Sam Stratton in the backfield now. He'll get the catch, and now he can throw. He runs out of the Wildcat, but this play fails to click. Steven Johnson makes the tackle. It's a loss of 5 for Wyoming as Temple was ready for it.
Well, they wanted to throw the ball back to the quarterback. He's just going to fling it out there, and then watch Brett Smith try to go at Adrian Robinson, the defensive end. Just grabs him. Nice heads-up play by Robinson. Understand that the throwback was coming and not allow it to happen.
Second down and 16. Smith, check to the sidelines. Greg Brandon, the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys in his first year. Former Bowling Green head coach. And Smith will take it ahead. Looking for running room, sheds a tackle at the 25. Penalty flags down, and Smith is out of bounds at about the 18-yard line.
What a physical run by Brett Smith. He gets in there and he just stiff arms the linebackers.
89 offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
It's going to be Josh Doxson.
He just stiff arms Steven Johnson, the middle linebacker right there. Unfortunately, this is going to come back because Doxson, when you run outside in the perimeter, sometimes those wide receivers, they're out on an island and everybody's looking at them, and it's tough on them. But Brett Smith is going to run the ball 13, 14 times in this game. That's kind of the area that Wyoming coaches want to get him. They don't want to overexpose him, but they don't want to lose his athleticism in the running game.
Smith is young, true freshman out of Salem, Oregon. The entire team is young. 16 freshmen or redshirt freshmen on the 2D. Second and 16. Smith going toward the end zone. And that's out of bounds, incomplete. A lot of contact running up the sideline. Doxson looking for a penalty flag and none thrown.
There was an opportunity missed on this last play. Take a look at Brandon Miller right here in the slot. He's just going to run a seam route, and Brett Smith's looking to the other side of the field. Didn't read the coverage of the defense, but he had a wide open touchdown. If he just reads the defense, watches the rotation, and takes care of his seam throw.
13th bowl trip for Wyoming, the first since the 2009 New Mexico Bowl. A 2-overtime win over Fresno State. They're back in Albuquerque today. Down 7-0. Temple with an impressive opening drive to take the lead. And now a timeout called for by Dave Christensen in Wyoming.
Timeout. Wyoming. Their first timeout.
A communication issue. So the Cowboys have to burn a timeout here. 3:53 to go in the quarter. 7-0 Temple.
college football. The Gildan, New Mexico Bowl is brought to you by Gildan, part of your life, and the New Mexico Tourism Department, land of enchantment.
In case you didn't know it, Albuquerque, New Mexico is the hot air balloon capital of the world.
You went on one of those the other day, didn't you? How was that?
It was beautiful. Fantastic. I want to thank Paul Smith. He was our pilot. Took us out on a beautiful balloon ride the other day. At the foot of the Sandia Mountains here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. 7-0 Temple. 3rd and 16 coming up for Wyoming out of the timeout. Cody Sutton in the backfield to the right of Brett Smith. Out of the gun. Chased. Gets away. Throws. And nearly picked off by the Owls at the 5-yard line. Great coverage by Vaughn Caraway, the free safety. 4th down, and the field goal unit will walk out.
One of the best qualities of Smith is his ability to create and move around in the pocket and extend plays. But he's also still a true freshman. In that situation there, you'd love to see him throw the ball, take a check down, get 8 or 9 yards, and make it an easier field goal for your field goal kicker instead of trying to force the ball down the field.
Daniel Sullivan, who has a long of 48 this year for Wyoming, will attempt a 49-yard field goal. Sullivan's kick is up and no good. The nephew of Pat Sullivan, the 71 Heisman winner, misses the field goal attempt, and Temple leads at 7-0. Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome back to Albuquerque. 7-0 Temple leading Wyoming here in the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week continues today with the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. The Ohio Bobcats taking on the Utah State Aggies following our game, and later tonight on ESPN at 9 Eastern. Running back Ronnie Hillman leads San Diego State against a Louisiana Lafayette team making its first bowl appearance in 41 years. That's the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Rocky Long, the former New Mexico head coach, now the head coach at San Diego State. And speaking of New Mexico, we're going to be talking with Bob Davie, former colleague, now the head coach at New Mexico, just in moments. Joe Jones on the end around. Big play for Temple inside the 40. Out at the 39-yard line, Luke Anderson finally made the stop, but another explosive play for the Owls.
Just take a look at the linebackers as they flow. When you start running the ball effectively, the misdirection game becomes even more of a sting, and Joe Jones, the beneficiary there. But when you run that ball downhill and you can run the option game off of it, those reverses come into play a lot.
85 rushing yards already for Temple. 1st and 10 from the 34. Here's Matt Brown right up the middle. And down to the 30. Pickup of 4. Mike Purcell, probably the best defensive tackle that Wyoming has, makes the stop. We're under 3 minutes to go, and Temple moving the football effectively again.
This is a big drive. Wyoming not able to get any points in the first drive that they had. If they give up another touchdown here, go down 14-0, clearly they're going to lose a lot of momentum in this game.
Deep handoff, Brown again. And he'll get stopped at about the 26. Purcell again on the stop after the gain of 3. No surprise, I guess, in the play selection from Temple.
No, you're going to see heavy dose of Bernard Pierce and Matt Brown. 75% run, and that's right where they are, even more so. But Matt Brown's an interesting guy. You know, you wonder with a guy like Bernard Pierce and the size that he has, why they give the ball to Matt Brown, a 5'5", 170-pound back, but he is that good. He's so shifty, he can make plays.
And they give it to Brown again, and he's got a 1st down.
And it says a lot. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1.5. When you got a Bernard Pierce on your team, and you turn around and hand it to Matt Brown, dot in the eye, that says a lot about how tough Matt Brown is. He's a kid that wasn't recruited because of his size. He went to junior college as a freshman, but really wanted to play Division I football. He walked on at Temple and forced this team to respect him with the way that he worked and his ability to make plays.
When you've got an offensive line that averages 6'5", and he's 5'5", he can easily get lost. 1st down and 10. Poyer, and dumped for a loss. Josh Bazoons and Brian Hendricks combine on the tackle, a loss of 4. Bazoons leads Wyoming in that category.
It looked like he should have given the ball to Bernard Pierce. He had a seam there. 4 Wyoming defenders are waiting on Chris Coyer. Just a misread by the quarterback.
Bazoons now 10.5 tackles for loss this year. Second team All Mountain West. So 2nd and 13 for the Owls.
Those are the negative plays that Wyoming needs to have on 1st and 2nd down to put Temple behind the down and distance and force him to throw the football.
Coyer sets up, throws across the middle, complete to Jones. Makes the catch at about the 20-yard line. He's wrestled down by Hendricks, a gain of 7.
We were talking with Scott Leffler, the offensive coordinator for Temple, and he's been very happy with the way Temple has run the football. But the last piece of this offense to come around has been the empty throw game, the quick game. And that's where Chris Coyer needs to continue to develop. If he's going to be an all-purpose quarterback, both on the ground and through the air, that's the area he needs to develop.
Might be time for one more play before the end of the first quarter. 3rd down and 6 from the 19. Temple marching inside the red zone for the 2nd time today. Coyer fakes the throw, steps up to run, finds a seam, 1st down. Inside the 10 to the 7. Deshaun Gibson tipped him over, but now Temple back in business.
Great blocking up front. These big offensive linemen don't just block for Bernard Pierce and Matt Brown. When you're at 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and you have the ability to run the quarterback draw and convert, that's a powerful statement.
Dominating first quarter by the Temple Owls. Known for the running game, but Evan Rodriguez with a big play in the pass-catching game that set up the first touchdown. And the Owls moving it again. It's not exactly warm here in Albuquerque today, about 41 degrees at kickoff.
You think there's insulation inside that barrel?
I don't know. I don't want to know what's inside that barrel, to be honest. The Gildan, New Mexico Bowl, 7-0 Temple. Here are the game trends from the first quarter, dominating on the ground. The Temple Owls, 105 rushing yards. They have a streak of 7 straight games of 200 or more rushing yards, and it looks like they're well on their way today. They've got it inside the red zone again. Under center, Coyer hands off to Bernard Pierce, making his way inside the 5 and down to the 2.
One of the things that impresses me about Pierce is his vision, and this is a power downhill scheme, but you see his eyes when he sees that crease in that hole. He's able to cut back, and then he's got the power in his legs to carry defenders through the hole. That's the thing that impresses NFL scouts the most about Pierce.
And he'll get it again. Touchdown, Pierce. His 2nd touchdown today. And Wyoming cannot stop this run game, at least as of yet. They haven't shown an ability to, of the Temple Owls.
Well, they're going to continue to see the power game, and they're just controlling the line of scrimmage, and that's an easy score for Temple and Bernard Pierce. His 27th touchdown, believe it or not, on the season.
Continues to add to that team record. 10 carries now, 38 yards and 2 touchdowns for Pierce. McManus tacks on the extra point, and Temple leads it 14-0 here early in the second quarter. We're at University Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the home of the Lobos and the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. This is the 6th year of this bowl game. There have been some changes here at this university as well when it comes to a head coach. Bob Davie, our former colleague, is now back in the coaching game as the head coach of the Lobos, and it's great to see you, pal. We've worked some games together in the past, and I know you're happy to be back here in New Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, good to see you guys. And first of all, I feel very fortunate to be here. You know, I had a great experience at ESPN, but really excited that Paul Krebs and the administration here at New Mexico gave me this chance to get back in coaching, and feel fortunate. I'm excited to get started on this thing.
You're out of coaching for 10 years. Why this job? Why now?
First of all, it's a place I want to live. You know, we've lived in Phoenix the last 5 years. You know, second, I wanted to go to a place where, and I don't mean this from an ego standpoint, but I want to put my name on it. You know, I want to build something that's down. maybe start from scratch in some areas, and come out here with something I'm really proud of. So the opportunity arose, and I couldn't be more excited, quite honestly.
It's been a tough go for the Lobos in recent years. What are you up against here?
Well, we've won 3 games in 3 years. That's the reality. But you know, people care. I mean, there's a lot of pride here. There's obviously a lot of pride in the state of New Mexico. The first thing is just to stabilize this program. And then the second thing is to change the culture. And we've kind of got a plan we feel pretty good about to hopefully get those things started.
This is a conference, Coach, that's changing by the minute with everything going on with Conference USA and Mountain West. How do you see the future of this conference and the place that New Mexico has in it?
Well, I think Craig Thompson, the commissioner of the Mountain West Conference, I've always been a big fan of his. And I think, you know, geographically we have some unique things. Obviously, we're watching Wyoming today. You know, I just think geographically we have a lot of things to offer. You know, you have Hawaii coming in, Fresno, Nevada, and you combine that with Wyoming, Colorado State, Air Force, UNLV, New Mexico. I mean, that's a pretty stabilized league that I think is very attractive.
Short run for Alvester. Alexander brings up 2nd down and 6 for the Cowboys. They shoot it out to Dominic Rufran. And bobbled the ball as he went out of bounds at the 25, a pickup of just 1. So 3rd and 5 coming up.
As you watch this Wyoming team, Coach, this is a quarterback that's going to be around this conference for a number of years.
Yeah,
how do you feel watching him?
I told you when I walked in a minute ago, it makes me nervous. You know, this is Missouri's offense. Certainly Gary Pinkel, Dave Christian's had great success. And this is a young quarterback that's a difference maker. I mean, he can run, he's tough. So, yeah, it makes me a little nervous, to be quite honest.
He's out of the gun here, throws over the middle and has it completed to 35. Slipping down to the 42-yard line is Robert Haran. And when we were talking with Greg Brandon, Coach, you know, he said that Smith plays with a linebacker's mentality. You say tough. He certainly is.
Yeah, I can see that. And Brian knows. I mean, Brian played the same way. You gain the respect of all those teammates. I mean, when your quarterback's the toughest guy on the team, team chemistry is in pretty good shape. I promise you that.
Rolls out to the right, sets to throw, finds a receiver at the 43. It's Haran again, and picks up a 1st down. Haran, the leading receiver of the players available for Wyoming. Chris McNeil out for the rest of the year with an arm injury. It's an 11-yard pickup and a 1st down.
Well, you talk about, you know, Brett Smith running the football, comes into the game with over 650 yards on the ground. If he starts to get a rhythm throwing the football and you combine that with his athleticism, he is a dangerous player.
Smith, the pitch, bobbled and loose on the ground. Alexander recovers, but it's a loss of 4 yards for the Cowboys.
That's the one element of the offense that, especially with young players, when you get grabbed and guys are pulling you down, you got to be careful with that kind of a pitch, because one mistake ends up in a turnover.
2nd down and 14 as they back it up to the 48-yard line of Wyoming. Smith, pocket collapses, steps up, throws, intercepted. Picked off at the 35 by Kier Griffin. And he brings it back into Wyoming territory to the 36-yard line. A 29-yard interception return.
You get off rhythm throwing the football. You see, take a couple of hitches, move around in the pocket, and the timing of the play breaks down. Corners start to read your eyes, and that time, Kier Griffin did a great job of reading the eyes of Brett Smith, and that was an easy interception for him.
Coach, that is the 9th interception thrown by Smith. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes for a rookie.
Well, I'm impressed with Temple. I think Steve Adazio continuing what Al Golden started to build at Temple. I mean, they're a good-looking football team when you see Temple on the hook.
Brown is hit behind the line of scrimmage by Bazoons. It's a loss of 1. 2nd down and 11.
You know, I know Steve Adazio, the head coach at Temple, was with me at Notre Dame on that same staff with Urban Meyer. He'll be the first one to tell you Al Golden did a tremendous job building the talent level at Temple. I mean, this is a good-looking team, bright future at Temple.
Yeah, a lot of players in the Philadelphia area they can pull from, too.
Jones in the backfield, they play fake to Coyer. Complete inside the 30. It is caught by Eugene. And it's going to be close to a 1st down for Temple as we check in the studio.
Clay, thank you. It is a busy day for Temple athletics while the Owls are facing Wyoming on the hard court. Temple facing Texas 11-7. The Owls in front, 13 to go in the first half. That game on ESPN News. Clay?
Derek Dennis is the man down for Temple. And we got a timeout here. Coach, we really appreciate you stopping. Good luck at New Mexico.
Thank you, Brian. Good luck to you guys.
Bob Davey, the new head coach of the New Mexico Lobos. First down and 10 for Temple when we come back. Welcome back to the Gildan New Mexico Bowl here in Albuquerque. 14-0 Temple. Don't forget Florida International and Marshall coming up on Tuesday. It's the Beef O'Brady's Bowl in St. Petersburg on ESPN. Now, they overturned that last play, Brian.
Yeah, this looks like his knee was down right there. You can see it pretty clearly. And what that does, takes away that first down, and it'll be a 3rd and 1 now for the Temple Owls at the 26-yard line.
Temple 3 of 4 today on 3rd down conversion attempts. Bernard Pierce in the backfield gets it again. Hit, gets away from a tackle and bounces to the outside. Down to the 15-yard line. Bernard Pierce continues to have a great day.
Well, this is as good as Wyoming can be from a position standpoint, but they've got to tackle Bernard Pierce. It's not enough to be in position. 3 guys have an opportunity to get Pierce down before he gets the first down. The last one there to miss, Coney Broder, the corner.
11 carries, 50 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Pierce. Temple leading by a couple of scores, has it inside the red zone again. 1st and 10 from the 14. This is Matt Brown now. He is elusive as well. Hurdles a man, gets back to the line of scrimmage into the 14-yard line. Gibson hit him hard. Matt Brown, very fun back to watch.
Well, he really is, and you can see the passion that he plays with. When they took him out after that last 3rd down conversion on the previous drive, he was not happy to be taken out, and he's going to let you know he's a very passionate guy. The coaches say he's got a magnetic personality. You walk into the room, and everybody just loves to be around him. Kind of player you love to have on your team.
What a tandem, Pierce and Brown. Coyer will keep it this time. He's a good runner, too. Knocks a man down, gets a first down to the goal line. Did he score? Yes! Touchdown, Temple. Chris Coyer with a beautiful individual effort and a 14-yard touchdown run.
Missed tackles are continuing to hurt Wyoming. That time to Sean Gibson, the safety, had a free shot on Coyer right there. Just didn't show up to the party. He put his head down and tried to knock Coyer down. And Coyer's too big of a man to try to tackle that way. 215 pounds. Give him credit. Finishing a tough run.
And they may review here.
Ruling on the previous play is a touchdown. The play is under further review.
Looks like his foot stepped out of bounds there on the 1.5-yard line. Great effort by Coyer, continuing to run over. Very clear that he's out of bounds, but that doesn't take away a great effort on that run.
This is the 4th bowl in the history of Temple football. They played in the first Sugar Bowl back in '35 under Pop Warner. They won the '79 Garden State Bowl over Cal. In 2009, Al Golden took him to the Eagle Bank Bowl, a loss to UCLA in Washington, D.C. So this is number 4, a chance to make a big statement in the first bowl game of 2011 on national TV.
Well, and they finished the season so strong, winning the last 3 games of the year. They had a little bit of a lull in the middle part of the season when they lost 3 out of 5 MAC games. Didn't lose them by a lot, but certainly got the momentum back.
The runner was out of bounds prior to scoring a touchdown. The ball will be put at the 1-yard line, 1st and goal.
But this game, really an opportunity to make a statement with respect to finishing the season strong and going into the offseason and recruiting in a positive fashion. And this Temple program is continuing to try to look as attractive as possible to the Big East, who is going to be adding some teams in the near future.
Brown, touchdown. Matt Brown bangs it in for Temple. And this running game is putting on a clinic.
You turn the football over, as Wyoming did. The interception from Brett Smith gives the short field to the Temple Owls, and they don't feel like they need to throw the ball at all. They're going to continue to pound away at Wyoming defensively.
McManus with the extra point. 137 yards on the ground so far here in the first half for Steve Adazio's Owls. Brown on that last drive picks up his 6th touchdown of the year, the 18th of his career. A 6-play, 35-yard drive after the turnover.
College football, the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl, is brought to you by the Albuquerque Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's a trip. Audi, Truth in Engineering. And Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
Clay Matvick, Brian Greasy, and Jessica Mendoza back here in Albuquerque. Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to bowl season on ESPN. The Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. Temple. 3 rushing touchdowns, lead at 21-0 here. Still early in the second quarter. Wyoming not doing itself any favors. A missed field goal today, also throwing an interception. And Wyoming has to figure it out quickly here. Things could turn from bad to worse. They're going to start at their 20 after that kick through the end zone by McManus. So bowl season is underway now. 35 postseason games in all, wrapping up on the 9th of January with the All-State BCS title game, LSU and Alabama. A lot of fun to be had between now and then.
Oh, a lot of games. You know, there's a lot of great BCS games. The Stanford-Oklahoma State game really stands out to me. Oklahoma State finished the season in impressive fashion, but I don't know that they're going to take the Stanford Cardinal too lightly, and especially the last game of the year for Andrew Luck.
Ball on the turf. Looks like it's recovered by Wyoming. A loss of 1 on the play. It's Clayton Curvin recovered for the Cowboys, the left tackle for Wyoming.
Boy, it's just not going the right way for the Wyoming Cowboys. That time just poked the ball out. Looked like Robinson got a hand on the football, and Curvin heads up place getting on the ball.
Cody Sutton, the running back, lost control of it. He had his red shirt pulled earlier this year because of the injury to Ghali Muhammad, one of the regular tailbacks a few weeks back. Smith keeps it himself, and he is going to be stood up at the 29-yard line by Anthony Roby, a gain of 9 for Wyoming. They really need Smith to start doing what he has been doing most of the year.
Yeah, they certainly do. As he goes, this team goes. He's been a streaky player at times. He's got to forget that last interception and come out and get some kind of positive momentum and points on this drive. Otherwise, if you put your defense back out there against the running game at Temple down 3 scores, it could get out of hand quickly.
1st and 10. Smith sprinting out, gets it off to Miller on the pitch. Brandon Miller, a wide receiver who has seen a lot of time at running back in recent weeks since the injury to Muhammad. Still plays a little bit of both. You know, there are a lot of players who are receivers slash running backs. You know, very versatile group of players on this Wyoming spread attack.
Well, it really is. And they brought Greg Brandon, the offensive coordinator in his first year here at Wyoming, is the one that basically taught Dave Christensen this spread offense when he was at Missouri. Greg Brandon was that guy that knows how to pull the trigger.
On 2nd down and 7, throw over the middle, and that's nearly picked off. That was wobbling in the secondary, and Kroboth almost intercepted him.
That's a throw that you've got to throw with more oomph. You've got to throw a seam ball with less air. If you lob that ball up in the air, safeties are going to make a play on it. You see here way too much air and just an opportunity to make a play on that football, or get one of your players hurt severely, but Proboth went for the football, but he could have laid out the receiver as well.
So now 3rd and 7. Wyoming has converted once on 3rd down. Smith in trouble, flushed out on the run, and he is not going to get the first down. Tracked down by Steven Johnson, the middle linebacker, the leader in tackles for the Owls, and Wyoming is most likely going to have to punt here.
That's great effort by Steven Johnson, the linebacker. She's leading this team in tackles on the season. Didn't play a whole lot a year ago and wasn't a highly touted player, but give him credit for tracking down Brett Smith, who's got speed to the outside.
Punting unit does come out. Took their time in doing it. And Austin McCoy is back for his first punt attempt, but a timeout called for you by Wyoming.
Their first timeout.
Check that, the Temple timeout, pardon me, their first.
30-second timeout.
Now this week on Monday Night Football, Frank Gore and the 49ers continue their postseason tune-up as they welcome Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, who are on a 4-game winning streak and fighting for playoff position. The Steelers and Niners on ESPN's Monday Night Football at 8:30. Coverage begins at 7 with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's.
I thought Jim Harbaugh would do a great job in San Francisco, but I didn't know that in his first year he'd do that well in the National Football League. That's a defense play that has not given up a rushing touchdown all year. That's unbelievable. Although they'll get a test by the Steelers ground game.
And Ben Roethlisberger hoping to play. He's got an ankle issue right now. McCoy the punt. Matt Brown the fair catch at the 29. And Temple 3 for 3 on scoring drives so far. 33-yard punt. Temple has it at the 29 when we come back. Bowl season is underway, and if the altitude here in Albuquerque is affecting the Temple Owls, you'd never know it. They lead at 21-0 with 7:41 to go before half. They've got it again at their own 29-yard line. Chris Coyer out of the gun will hand off to Bernard Pierce. And he's already got a couple of touchdowns in this game. Good run on first down out to the 35, but there is a penalty flag on the play. And this is Bernard Pierce so far today, Brian. He's been impressive. He's got NFL written all over him, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's really not only him, but this offensive line. There's a couple of guys on the offensive line that will have an opportunity to try to make a team at the next level. Tribune, the right guard, the left tackle, Pat Boyle. You got to give those guys a lot of credit. They didn't play a whole lot together as a unit a year ago, but they have found their rhythm this season, and really Bernard Pierce has been the beneficiary.
Well, that penalty was on Wayne Tribune, the right guard. It's a tripping call. And so this will come back to the 17-yard line. 5 penalties a game for Temple on the year, 3rd fewest in the MAC. They've done a pretty good job with that. 1st and 22 for the Owls. Coyer throws and nearly intercepted by one of the linemen. Pelosi had it and almost intercepted it. Let's go to the studio for an update.
Clay, thank you. On ESPN2, again, it's Temple and Texas. 22-17 Owls here. Then Raul Hollis Jefferson for 2. He's got 6 points. 27-23 ball game. 4 minutes to play in the first half.
All right, Wendy, thank you very much. Yeah, Temple all over ESPN today. Bill Cosby is enjoying this afternoon, no doubt about it. 2nd and 22. Matt Brown will cut it up. And gets almost back to the original line of scrimmage. Devin Harris on the stop. Let's go down to Jessica Mendoza.
Well, Temple obviously has a ton of energy on the sideline, but what I'm so surprised with is the fact they get on these highs and then they immediately are on the bench with oxygen tanks because they're running out of breath, specifically the defense. As Wyoming picks up their pace, you can see it affect Temple, but I'm impressed with the fact that they still keep that high energy.
You had to deal with this throughout your playing career.
I wasn't a very fast guy, so I didn't run very much, so I didn't need a whole lot of oxygen.
Coyer on 3rd down and 12. Complete. And it's going to be short of the first down as Jones makes the catch. He's run out about 2 or 3 yards short. A gain of 10. And the way things are going for this offense, you might think that Steve Addazio would give thought to going for it, but they are going to kick.
Well, I think it was absolutely the right call to go for on the first drive to establish kind of your rhythm and your dominance on the ground in this game. But up 21 points on a 4th and 2.5, it's the right call to kick it here.
Steve Addazio kind of embodies the toughness that
sure does.
Temple has, that he wants to continue to see from his teams in the future. He's an old line guy, and he's got a booming voice.
Delay. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
I mean, Philadelphia is known for Rocky, the Broad Street Bullies. Steve Addazio kind of has that feel about him.
He certainly does. You know, he was telling us about their practice facilities and the train that runs by there every single day in the practice. And they're working to get better facilities, and I think they're going to have next summer some brand new facilities that Steve Addazio is very fired up about. But he's got the right attitude for Philadelphia.
And another penalty flag.
False start. 24 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Back-to-back penalties against the Owls. That's not going to make Steve happy.
No, that's not going to make him happy. I went to practice on Thursday, and he was fired up. He did not want for any of these players for Temple to take the Wyoming Cowboys lightly. He needed to understand the value of this game and the opportunity that these guys had, and wanted to send his seniors out on a positive note. So they have come out and heard the message from Steve Addazio and been ready to play.
McManus now standing at the 13-yard line to kick. Blair Burns to return for Wyoming. Runs up, catches it at the 33, is upended at about the 39-yard line. Chris Hutton on the tackle, a 41-yard punt. Well, Wyoming needs to get something going here. 5:37 to go before halftime. They're down 3 touchdowns. Chili peppers, an important cash crop here in New Mexico. They've been grown in this part of the world since, oh man, 4 centuries ago, they say.
Roasted. I had the roasted green chili sauce on my burrito the other night. Fantastic.
I like spicy food. It doesn't like me, but I like spicy food. Happy holidays, everyone. Welcome to the bowl season on ESPN, the Gildan New Mexico Bowl. It's been all Temple so far. Wyoming's offense has been anemic.
Well, that first drive, they moved the ball a little bit. 11 plays, then the missed field goal on a bad snap, and then the interception led to a touchdown from Temple. They've got to find some kind of rhythm on offense in this drive.
Brent Smith, the Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year, the team MVP at quarterback, has been held in check today by this Temple defense. Hands off here to Alvester Alexander, and he stood up, little or no gain. John Ubodi, the defensive tackle, recently moved inside to that 3 technique from defensive end. Number 11 makes the stop.
Well, this is a defense for Temple that is very stout in the front 7. I don't believe that Wyoming has faced a kind of defense like this outside of the Boise State game. They're a very good defense. But this Temple team giving up only 13.5 points a game. It's 3rd in the country, only behind LSU and Alabama.
Yeah, playing for the national title. Pretty impressive. Dominic Roofran makes the catch. He's going to be run out of bounds by Krobot, a couple of yards short of the first down. Gets out close to the 47-yard line. It's a gain of 8 for Wyoming. So 3rd down and short.
And Wyoming needs to continue to move the pocket, get the ball on the perimeter. I don't believe they're going to be able to consistently run in between the tackles against Temple. So get the ball to the perimeter of your playmakers' hands, even on 3rd and short here.
Brett Smith, 6 for 10, 40 yards passing, has thrown 1 interception that Temple turned into points. Here's the pitch to Alexander, trying to cut the corner, tripped up. We'll see where they spot it. He may have enough for the first down. Tahir Whitehead got out there and made the stop, and it is going to be a first down, Wyoming.
And you see in 3rd and short, not running inside, going outside with the pitch, and Whitehead, a great play on the outside, almost brought Sylvester down before he got to the first down marker, but a first down for Wyoming.
Alexander, the Cowboys' leading rusher, almost 700 yards per game. It'll be Smith here to run on first down. Nothing doing. Adrian Robinson, who is also getting some NFL attention. The defensive end makes the play for Temple.
Yeah, Robinson, 6'2", 250 pounds. He would translate more to an outside linebacker in the National Football League, but he's got the speed. And you see, when they get Brett Smith down around the ground, they're going to make sure that he understands he's going to get hit multiple times in this game.
2nd and 9 for Wyoming. Play fake out into the flat for Haran, and well short of the first down. Justin Gilday made the stop. It's a gain of 4, so 3rd down and a long 5 for the Cowboys.
This is the area of the field in 3rd down situations where Brett Smith has to use his athleticism to extend plays. Take a shot if your first or second read is there. If not, use your legs to extend the play and get a first down.
Coming up on 3 minutes to go before halftime. It's been all Temple. Wyoming trying to get something going here late in the half. Smith looking for room. He is going to be stopped well short of where he needed to get. Whitehead comes in to make the play. It's going to be a 3-yard pickup, but 2 yards short of the first down.
And that's a play call from Dave Christensen, basically saying, hey, get 3 or 4 yards and get me in a more manageable 4th down situation because I know that I'm going to go for it.
Fourth and 2. Smith lines up in the shotgun.
No safety for Temple. They're coming with all-out blitz.
Play clock to 5 and a timeout.
Wyoming is charged with their 2nd timeout.
That's a situation there. You had a play called, and you see a defense with 0 coverage, all-out blitz, and Christensen didn't like the look.
We'll see what Wyoming draws up. They're down 21-0. Wyoming is going to go for it here on 4th down. It's 4th and a long 2. 3 receivers to the right. Smith will run, and he's got a lane. First down and more. Spins inside the 30-yard line to the 28. Big pickup for Wyoming. Let's go to the studio and Wendy Nix.
Clay, thank you. Coming up on the H&R Block Halftime Report, we'll preview the remaining 2 bowl games on this opening Saturday. In college hoops for the Buckeyes, Jared Sullinger is injured, but we'll have an update as well as highlights from Temple and Texas on the hard court. Clay?
All right, Wendy, thank you. Here's Brandon Miller now. And he gets it to the 24-yard line. More Keith Brown on the stop, a gain of 4. Huge 4th down conversion for the Cowboys.
They had to have that conversion. We'll go back and take a look at it. When the game is on the line, they're going to give the ball to their best player, Brett Smith, and they just had a little counter play, pulled the lineman, got him to the 2nd level, and he's difficult to bring down when he gets in the secondary. 96
yards in total offense for Smith. He set a new Mountain West freshman record for total offense. The record held by Andy Dalton at TCU. And it's Smith again to the 20-yard line. Johnson, the middle linebacker.
You know, it's one thing to establish a new record yardage-wise, throwing the ball, running the ball, and Brett Smith's certainly been a very capable player this year for Wyoming. But what's most impressive is kind of the leadership and the attitude and the determination with which he plays. And that shows up in this area of the field, the red zone, where he's been able to get the ball in the end zone with his legs.
And on 3rd and 2, he'll get the call again. This time, the Owls are ready for him. It's Robinson leading the charge again. No gain for Smith, and it's 4th down.
That time, Robinson did a great job reading the zone read. He knows his assignment was the quarterback. He's not going to bite on the fake. He just goes after Smith and makes a sure-handed tackle on the edge.
And another
30-second timeout.
Wyoming. 43 seconds to go. This Temple defense pretty impressive. Made the switch from the 3-4 to the 4-3 this year.
Robinson has stayed home quite a few times. That time they wanted to throw back to him. They've been able to read the eyes of Brett Smith. They've contained this Wyoming spread offense for the most part and turned the football over and missed a couple of them. But this has been par for the course for Temple all season long. They've been able to force offenses into mistakes.
Their defensive coordinator Chuck Heater came along with Steve Adazio from Florida, 35-year coaching vet. He's worked with some great defenses, and he is very impressed with that number right there. Under 14 points per game allowed. You mentioned it. Alabama and LSU, the only defenses that have done better this year, and they're playing for a national title in January.
And, of course, they've played in the MAC. That's what everybody will say. But either way, it's been impressive.
So Wyoming again going for it on 4th down. They're 2 for 2 so far. Throwing this time. Smith to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Josh Doxson. A 4th down conversion for a score.
Perfectly thrown ball. And then Brett Smith, you see the emotional leader of this Wyoming team, a captain for this game as a true freshman. There is no give up or quit in him, and this team will follow him. Big conversion and get back in this football game, only down 2 scores.
Daniel Sullivan. The extra point. Did it bang through? Yes. Hit both uprights and fell through for the extra point.
He's going to get a nickname as the pinball wizard. He keeps doing those kinds of things. Great play by Josh Doxson on the outside ISO. One-on-one coverage. Last week he made 2 great touchdown plays. The last game of the season he had 3 catches for 129 yards. That time got behind the defense and caught that ball with one hand. Great play.
11 plays, 62 yards in 5 minutes. Wyoming had to have the scoring drive. A couple of 4th down conversions on the drive.
Just like you draw it up right there.
Yeah.
It's nothing but net.
So when times get tough, like you said, Grease, they go to the guy that they've been going to all year.
There's a grit about this team. We talked about how tough Temple is. Dave Christensen preaches discipline and toughness from his guys. You got to be a tough player to go to Wyoming where it's cold and it's windy. But these guys know how to stay in games and know how to compete, and there will be no quit in them.
Since throwing that pick, Smith is perfect. Another squib kick. This is Joe Jones on the return. And he'll get to the 30-yard line. Stays on his feet. 35 and close to the 40. He's down at the 39. Great return for Jones. Capital One Bowl Week continues today with the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. The Ohio Bobcats taking on Utah State. That's following our game, and later tonight on ESPN at 9 Eastern. Running back Ronnie Hillman leads San Diego State against Louisiana Lafayette, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
You got to be impressed with the Utah State and happy for them. They started the year 2-5, and then to get to a bowl game, big reason. Robert Turbin, number 6 rushing attack in the nation for the Aggies, and you got to feel happy for them. First postseason appearance in 14 years.
Utah State, of course, beat Wyoming this year. Poyer throws, has a man wide open. Rod Streeter to the end zone, touchdown. Got behind the defense and scores. A 61-yard play. And now the Owls showing off through the air.
Just when Wyoming gets back into the football game, they feel like they're going to go into halftime only down 14 points with 20 seconds left. And Temple takes a chance and throws the ball down the field, and Marcus Huff fell down. The corner just fell down on the play, and an easy touchdown for the Owls.
Rod Streeter, one of the seniors for Temple. This is the only class in Temple history to play in 2 bowl games. And Streeter and the rest of the upperclassmen going out in style, at least so far today. 61 yards, Poyer to Streeter.
See Huff, the corner just falls down. He tries to flip his hips and get back out there. He's trying to play both receivers. That's how corners are taught when you have 4 verticals, but just fell down. And Chris Coyer doesn't get to throw the ball very often. If you have a 60-plus yard touchdown pass for Temple, you're going to be happy.
Longest reception of the year by Streeter. Yeah, 75% of the offense, which you mentioned back in the first quarter, is on the ground for these Owls. 585 run plays, just 186 pass plays coming into the day. But when they need to, they can get it done through the air.
I think in that situation, Steve Adazio just says, well, I'm going to take a shot here. You know, I only got 25, 30 seconds left in the half. Why not take a shot downfield with one of my big wide receivers and see what happens? And wouldn't you know it, the corner falls down, and it's a big play.
McManus kicks it off. And it's bobbled in the end zone by Dominic Ruffran. He'll come out and find some room along the near sideline. Has the kicker to get around and gets out to the 35-yard line. Pretty good return considering Ruffran dropped that ball in the end zone. So 11 seconds to work with here for the Cowboys. Well, that's a disappointing letdown by the Wyoming defense after the offense gave this team a spark.
Yeah, demoralizing, and not the way that Dave Christensen wants to go into the locker room, but nonetheless, they've got to find a way to dig deep, get back in this football game, and it's got to start with their defense at least slowing down the Temple running attack in the second half.
So here's Smith. Clock running. Could be the final play of the half. Throws it off short. Alexander is going to stay in bounds. And
he got a first down there.
He did get the first down to stop the clock. Yep.
At least momentarily.
So one more play for the Cowboys. Smith throws a deep, penalty flag down. And this one's up for grabs, picked off at the 10. Intercepted by Anthony Roby, and that's going to be the maybe the last play of the half.
Holding, 68 offense. Penalties declined. Period is over.
Yep, it's a holding call on Wyoming. And it was a tough first half for Wyoming. As we look at the quarterback comparison, Smith so far not having quite the day that he has had during the rest of the year, and Temple certainly getting it done on the ground.
Yeah, and Smith got it going there at the end, and defense just lets him down.
150 rushing yards for Temple. Let's go down to Jessica's with Coach Steve Adazio.
Coach, Wyoming getting some brief momentum. What is about your team to respond so quickly and your decision to go up top there at the end?
Well, it was a great call by Scott Loeffler, offensive coordinator. Felt really confident about taking that shot. And, we executed it well, and our guys just want to play wide open today. We want to go after it. So we're playing hard, but it's only half right now. We got a lot of football left to play. We're playing a really good football team. We got to go in, got to gather up, got to come out really, really great in the second half with a lot of energy and a lot of passion. We got to play our brand of football.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks.
No coat on. He's got a short sleeve shirt on. We told you he's Philly tough. Temple, 4 touchdowns on 5 possessions. Wyoming throwing 2 interceptions. Of course, that one in the last second on the clock. 28-7 Temple. Let's go to the studio now in Wendy Minutes. back to Albuquerque and the 2011 Gildan New Mexico Bowl. Dominating performance by the Temple Owls in that first half. 278 yards of total offense, and they lead it 28-7 as we get ready to start the second half. Brian Greasy, Clay Matvick, back with you here at University Stadium in Albuquerque. And Temple wasted no time socking Wyoming right in the kisser with a beautiful 90-yard drive on the opening series.
Well, and a big play in that drive. Remember, they went for it on 4th and 1 in their own side of the 50-yard line. And really, they wanted to establish an attitude. Temple is all about toughness, and Steve Adazio made a big decision early in the game to go for it, and then comes back with play action to Rodriguez on the back end, and they finish it off with Bernard Pierce. And that was really the attitude and setting the tempo for this football game, and they have not looked back since. A big touchdown right before halftime as Wyoming kind of fell asleep, and Huff, the corner, fell down and gave up a big touchdown.
That was our Vonage Drive recap. Here are the first half stats. You know, Temple, 150 yards on the ground, what you would expect, but how about 128 through the air, too?
Well, a lot of that was that last touchdown pass from Coyer over 60 yards, so those numbers are a little bit skewed, but they have really made their hay, as they have all year, on the ground.
Coyer 166 total offense in that first half. Very impressive. So Wyoming will start with the football here in the second half, and they'll start at the 20. Let's go down to Jessica Mendoza.
Well, I spoke with Coach Christensen at the half, and he said they just need to flat-out compete better. Stop tackles, stop their offense. He said this first possession means everything. They need to drive down the field and score.
And Wyoming turning it over a couple of times. There's one of those interceptions thrown in the last seconds, but also giving up big plays.
Well, that's a good point. They have had a lot of missed tackles, and it's not easy to bring down Bernard Pierce, but if they're going to compete in this game, they've got to get those guys on the ground.
All right, here's Ben Smith handing off on first down to Alexander. Alvester Alexander's first carry here in the second half. He was really held in check in that first half. Just 3 yards on 4 carries.
Well, the message at halftime is don't try to come back 21 points down in the first 3 quarters of this game. You've got to really just get some momentum, get some positive mojo going on offense in your first drive.
And it's Alexander again. And picks up the first down. Stephen Johnson makes the tackle. At least it looks like he got it. It's going to depend here on the spot. Didn't get a favorable spot, so it's actually going to be third down and short for Wyoming. It's been that kind of day for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and third and short is not the best situation for this Wyoming team. They are more of a perimeter run team, and it's hard for them to convert in these kind of situations.
Alexander will pick it up this time. And a penalty flag down, too. Flag on the field. I think this is going to go against Wyoming.
Illegal formation. 5 men in the backfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Those are the kinds of things as a coach that just drive you crazy. You get a conversion on third down, and then you don't get a conversion here. See, you got all 5 of these guys in the backfield. You need to have one on the line of scrimmage.
Least penalized team in the Mountain West this year, but Wyoming with a stinger there. Now 3rd and 6. Smith off his back foot comes underneath, caught, and this is going to be a first down for Dominic Rufran. Rufran, the freshman receiver out of Colorado Springs, picks up 7.
Well-designed play, good call in that kind of a situation, anticipating Temple coming after them with the pass rush, use their strength against them, and despite the fact that all of those things went right for Wyoming, they barely got the first down, so you can see it's very tough to get any kind of yardage on this Temple defense.
Third drive starting at their own 20. Now 1st and 10 from the 33. Here's Brandon Miller. Again, no operating room right up the middle. This Temple defense has been impressive today. Steven Johnson again, 5-time MAC Defensive Player of the Weekend on the stop.
Well, they've got some big guys in there. 99, Levi Brown, 300 pounds. They moved Yabodi in from defensive end to 3 technique. He's number 11 there. You see, he's not the biggest guy, 6'4", 260 pounds, but he is athletic and can move.
Quickly out into the flat. It's Doxson. Doxson will step out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. A gain of 5. Johnson ran him out. Doxson had that touchdown catch on 4th down and 2 late in the half, which appeared to get things turning in the right direction for Wyoming, but then Temple scored on that big play moments later.
Doxson's a guy they need to get involved in the second half. He's their one big play wide receiver.
3rd down and 5. Smith with a run for the 1st down.
Smith is their best 3rd down weapon. If they get anywhere in the neighborhood of 3rd and 6 or less, Dave Christensen feels very comfortable dialing up his number in the run game. He'll come out in a spread set, empty set, and make sure that he stretches the defense horizontally, sideline to sideline, and then just let Brett Smith find a crease.
He'll send 3 receivers out to the right, now throws it out into the flat. This is Rufran, and read well by the Temple defense. Now, Smith graduated early from West Salem High School in Oregon, so he was able to attend spring practice for Wyoming. One of the reasons he was able to win the job in the fall.
Yeah, getting there early. There's no substitute for that. Learning the terminology, and then he just kind of took over. And his charisma, that it factor, just kind of took over and led this team this year.
Rufran hit again in the backfield. Kamal Johnson, and to hear Whitehead there. And it's a loss of 1 as Wyoming's going in the wrong direction.
Well, and you see on this drive alone, they've thrown 3 of these wide receiver slip screens. And when you start to rely on those kinds of plays, what you're saying is we don't have the size or personnel to really come out and blow you off the ball and run the football. We've got to try to do it with smoke and mirrors. And right now, it's not working for Wyoming.
What is up to do?
9th play of the drive coming up for the Cowboys. And penalty markers everywhere. Smith get it out close to midfield, but there are flags down in the field. And again, it looks like it's going to go against Wyoming. Now some pushing and shoving down there. The ball may have popped loose.
I think they're going to get Temple for an offsides here.
Offside, 85 defense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Somewhere Keith Brown.
Yeah, he's right in the middle of the screen there, and he just a little bit early gave a free play to Wyoming. It would now bring up a 3rd down, and look like a little extracurricular there. And I tell you, Brett Smith's not going to take anything from anybody. He is not afraid. He's a fearless kind of player, and he told us this week, I love to play the game fearless. That's just the way I was raised, and it doesn't matter if it's a defensive tackle, linebacker. If they hit him late, he's going to go after him.
His dad Kevin was a quarterback at Oregon. And complete here to Rufran again. Zod tries to pick up the 1st down. He's about a yard short. Gilday in on the tackle, a gain of 6.
Good solid tackle by Justin Gilday, the junior from Pennsylvania. Brings up a 4th down attempt, and I don't think there's any question that Coach Christensen is going to go for it here, down 3 touchdowns.
Well, they've been going to Smith in situations like this throughout the day. Is that the call again?
Another quarterback run.
Now they do hand off, inside handoff to Alexander, and positive results for the Cowboys. They get it to the 40-yard line, and they are 4 for 4 today on 4th down. So Alexander picks it up. 1st and 10 at the Temple 41-yard line.
I'd get in an up-tempo situation here. You get a 1st down, convert on a 4th down, get some momentum going.
Smith in trouble, and he's going to be dumped. A sack at midfield. Robinson and Levi Brown. And it's a 9-yard loss.
They tried to throw another slip screen to the wide receivers. Clay would have been their 5th one on the drive, and Temple's just not fooled anymore. They cover it. There's nowhere to go with that football, and at that point, the quarterback, that's no man's land. You can't throw the ball away because you got linemen downfield. You just got to take a sack.
Another 2nd and a mile, 2nd and 19 for the Cowboys. This is the opening series of the half for Wyoming. It's been inconsistent, to say the least. Roof ran. And again, nowhere to go, and this is going to be a loss. Robinson again drops him at the 38. That's a loss of 10.
Another wide receiver screen. You know, when this offense lost Chris McNeil, their best wide receiver, and they lost Muhammad, their best running back, they've really been hamstrung, and they just don't have the kind of playmakers and creativity to make plays on a consistent basis against a good defense like this. And you're seeing right now it's been pretty painful for Wyoming on offense.
3 catches for negative yards on this drive for Roofran. And this one's hit at the line of scrimmage and almost intercepted. Certainly should have been. It was tipped up in the air, and Akeem Smith had it and couldn't haul it in.
That's probably the easiest interception Akeem will ever have, and he just dropped it. Sometimes when the ball goes way up in the air, those guys have too much time to think about it. Started to run without that ball. He was looking for the end zone and didn't secure the interception.
Almost the 3rd interception thrown by Smith. Austin McCoy, his 2nd punt today for Wyoming. This is going to bounce at the 29-yard line. Takes a Wyoming bounce to the 23. Almost another interception for the Temple defense. They lead it big, 28-7. 7:56 to go in the 3rd here in Albuquerque. Wyoming on that last drive, Brian, controlled the ball for 7 minutes. 7:04 to be exact. But gained just 20 yards on 13 plays.
That's hard to do.
On 1st down, it's Bernard Pierce. He's had a nice day for the Owls out across the 30-yard line. He's got a couple of touchdowns today. Give him 8 on that carry. All right, so is it to that point now where we're going to see nothing but the run game from Temple, and they're going to try and chew up the clock?
You know, I think you're going to see the continuation of Temple's offense, which is predominantly run, but I don't think they're not going to throw the football. I think they want to continue to develop a young quarterback that's only making his 4th start. They're trying to evaluate guys for the future, and they want to put a statement on this game. They've won some games in large fashion this season. I don't expect them to come off the gas pedal.
Pierce is going to get nothing on this one. Back to the line of scrimmage. Anderson, Sam linebacker, and Gabe Napton there as well for Wyoming. Chris Coyer, the left-handed quarterback for Temple, hurt his shoulder in the final regular season game against Kent State. There was a little bit of concern about whether he'd be able to go full strength here today. I don't think there's any question. He's feeling just fine.
No, I think he was fine. He had 3 weeks to rest that shoulder, and he looks to be throwing the ball well today and running it as well.
3rd and 3 here. And Coyer looks like he's got enough for the 1st down. Forward progress is going to get him out close to the 35-yard line. Corey Jones made the tackle. Coyer, the 4th quarterback used by the Owls this year, as a flag is on the play.
Dead ball, personal foul. Number 5 on the defense. Unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Gonna get Jones.
He was talking back and forth with Matt Brown, the running back, and Brown had a few things to say. I didn't see a whole lot there. It must have been something he said. But it's a little frustration starting to set in on the defensive side for the Cowboys.
Saying that Coyer is the 4th quarterback used by the Owls this year. He was tabbed as the starter in spring, but suffered a broken hand. Dazio always had him in mind to be the guy to run this offense. running it well today. Here he hands off to Brown. Now close to the 45-yard line of Wyoming. Gain of 5 for Matt Brown.
Yeah, and you go back, Chester Stewart played 6 games at the quarterback position for Temple. Mike Girardi started the season. He was the quarterback when they put that scare into Penn State. Should have beaten Penn State on the 3rd game of the season. Ended up losing 14-10. He was also the quarterback when they beat Maryland 38-7. And Steve Adazio, after they had lost a few games in the MAC, made the switch to Coyer and really opened up the offense.
And here's Bernard Pierce. First down, Temple. Quest Houghton brings him down, but he'll move the chains again as we're coming up on 5.5 to go here in the 3rd. Don't forget Ohio and Utah State coming up later today on ESPN in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
And Ohio was a game that Temple lost 35-31, I believe. It was a high-scoring game.
Pierce again looking like an All-American here today, especially in that first half. He was very impressive. A couple of rushing touchdowns. The last 3 years, Brian, the Owls are 19-2 when he carries 18 times or more. That was his 16th carry today.
Well, and you remember last year he got hurt. He's been nicked up from time to time. Now, he's had a lot of carries in his defense. But one of the things coming into the season that Steve Adazio wanted to see was Bernard Pierce finish the season in a healthy manner. And he made the dedication in the offseason, and now he's finishing this season strong.
Coyer trying to get out of the tackle, can't do it. Purcell able to bring him down short of the first down marker. It's a gain of 5. Bring up 3rd down and short for Temple.
But that was the last piece that was missing with Bernard Pierce. Everybody knew he was strong in the legs, had great vision, and he was a back that would get stronger as game went on. But he just needed to stay healthy for an entire season if Temple was going to have this kind of a year.
7 running plays, make it 8 on this drive, and it's Pierce again. And it's a first down for the Owls. Let's go down to Jessica.
You know, Brian, you said it perfectly. Bernard Pierce, with this new coaching staff, really pushed himself mentally and physically above and beyond anything he'd ever done. He changed his diet, he got after it in the weight room, and his goal was to finish the season. So with every drill, no matter how hard it was, every coach was in his ear saying, finish the drill and you'll finish the season. He said that's why he's having the season he is.
Let's go, Cowboys!
He has looked good today. 17 carries, 71 yards, a couple of scores. This is Evan Rodriguez, the tight end. Another first down for the Owls to the 15. Let's go to the studio now for an update with Wendy.
Clay, thank you. An update from college hoops on ESPN2. It is Temple as well facing Texas, who trailed for much of this ball game. But Mike Kupanga here, the layup for 2. Texas now leading 62-54 in the second half. Clay?
All right, Wendy, thank you. I wasn't kidding about that when I said Bill Cosby's in his glory today. I'll bet he's wearing out the clicker at home, going between Temple basketball and Temple football today.
Well, he can't be real happy with the outcomes, but certainly that both of his teams are on the air. I'm sure he's happy.
He was a fullback back in the early 60s on the Temple football team. He's watching today at home. And a timeout here by Steve Adazio's Owls. Coyer will head to the sideline. 1st and 10 coming up. 28-7, Temple leading late in the 3rd.
ESPN College Football, the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl, is brought to you by the Albuquerque Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's a trip. The all-new Volkswagen Passat 2012 Motor Trend Car of the Year, and Dove Men Plus Care.
Clay Matvick, Brian Greasy, Jessica Mendoza back here in Albuquerque. And Temple in the red zone again, leading 28-7. First down at 10. And Coyer checking at the line. He steps up under center. And it'll be Bernard Pierce one more time. Luke Anderson with a nice play for Wyoming. 1-yard pickup. That was the 10th play of this drive drive that started at the 23-yard line. Long, sustained drives by the Owls have been the story today.
Well, we talked with defensive coordinator Marty English for Wyoming. He said the key to this game was they wanted to force Temple to go 80 yards in 10, 12, 15 plays. They just couldn't give up the big play. Well, it certainly hasn't worked out for them. They've been stopping those big plays for the most part outside of a long touchdown, but still they have not been able to keep Temple out of the end zone, get off the field on third downs.
Pierce stuffed again. Jones and Purcell combining for a 2-yard loss as there are 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Temple looking for its first bowl win in 32 years. Back in 1979, the Owls won the Garden State Bowl over Cal. Had a bowl win since then. They've only played one game in postseason play since '79. That was a couple of years ago. A loss to UCLA, the Eagle Bank Bowl. So far, so good for Temple today. Hoyer lofts it up to the end zone. Well, incomplete, intended for Dion Miller. I'll bring up fourth down, and the field goal unit will come out.
Well, and finally a stop for Wyoming in the red zone. 2 first down and second down stops in the running game forced an errant throw on third down, and that was one that Coyer would probably like to have back. I still to this day, Clay, have not seen a ball completed that was thrown 5 yards out of bounds.
No. Probably never will. 34-yard field goal attempt for Brandon McManus. McManus has done a little bit of everything for Temple this year. Kicks, punts, picks off. Adds 3 more. It's 31-7 Owls. Tomorrow on ESPN, it's the rematch everyone has been waiting for in women's college basketball. Both teams undefeated. Number 1 Baylor poised to avenge its 1-point loss last season to UConn. UConn number 2 in the nation. That's tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern. 2 great teams, 2 great coaches. Kim Mulkey of Baylor, Gino Auriemma of UConn. Great talent on display in that game tomorrow. And another kick into the end zone by McManus. And defense for Temple has been really good today. And Wyoming has really sputtered on offense. We've seen a lot of screens that have just amounted to nothing for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's been tough. They lost, as we said, their best wide receiver and running back during the course of this year. And Temple, who has maintained pretty healthy throughout the course of the season, but they have been aggressive. They can run to the football. They're big and physical up the middle with Levi Brown. And it's just been a difficult day for Wyoming moving the ball with any kind of consistency.
179 yards of total offense for Wyoming. There's a completion to Sam Stratton, another freshman for Dave Christensen. And that's a pickup of 5. One thing that Christensen does have to look forward to is a lot of these guys are coming back. He has a very youthful squad, 16 freshmen, a redshirt freshman in the 2 deep today. In the last 3 years, 46 freshmen have played, 21 have started.
So you come to Wyoming, you're going to play early if you're good enough.
Smith got away from a potential sack, throws it deep downfield. The man was open, but the pass was thrown underneath. Ogbonna couldn't come back to make the catch.
Wow, great individual effort by Brett Smith, and it looked like Ogbonna had a great opportunity. He just needed to come back to get that football. Receivers have to come back to get balls like this. He's throwing the ball as far as he possibly can, and Ogbonna just needs to take a better angle to come back and make that play.
And Ogbonna was named the team's receiver of the year this year, but can't come up with a big play there, which the Cowboys desperately needed. So now 3rd and 5. Goes over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for Roofran, and Wyoming will have to punt. Let's go down to Jess.
Talking with Coach Christensen this week, he brags about the fact that it is that disciplined mentality. It takes a certain player to want to play in Wyoming. He's like, we have a Walmart. We don't have nightclubs. We don't have those distractions. No crime. He's like, this is the kind of place you come and you focus on academics, you focus on football, and it takes that kind of player.
Crime, that's a good thing. No crime, but no nightclubs, that might be a bad thing.
I tell you what, I've seen more cowboy boots in the stadium today than I think I've ever seen in my life.
Good luck. Like it. There's a punt for Austin McCoy. It's going to bounce inside the 35. And it's going to pretty much check up right there. Capital One Bowl Week continues Tuesday on ESPN. The Florida International Panthers won a school record 8 games this season. They meet Marshall in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl in St. Pete, Florida. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN, ESPN Radio, ESPN3, you name it. Mario Cristobal.
Outstanding year.
Oh, what a job. And his name is being thrown around and, in fact, mentioned when they talk about that opening at Pitt.
Yeah, you know what? I think Mario Cristobal is going to be a coach at a big-time program in the not-too-distant future. He's done an outstanding job. He's got the kind of discipline, and I look for him to be on a lot of people's list.
Poyer throws a strike on the run into Wyoming territory, snagged by Eugene. He'll take it out of bounds at the 47-yard line. That was a very good throw on the run of 20 yards.
Yeah, and this is the thing that Poyer needs to continue to develop. We know that he can run the football. We know he can be dangerous. But can he throw the ball accurately when he's on the run outside the pocket? That's what he's going to need if he's going to continue to grow as a quarterback in Temple's system. That time, very accurate throw.
7 for 10 now, 160 yards through the air for Chris Poyer. Just a sophomore for Temple. And he'll run it this time. And how about that run for a first down? On 2 plays back-to-back, throws we can do through the air and then on the ground as the third quarter comes to an end. Well, it's been a good offensive day for the Owls, but the defense has been just as good, Brian.
Yeah, they have been all over Wyoming Cowboys in this game.
Fourth quarter here in Albuquerque at the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. Temple leading at 31-7. Storylines brought to you by K Jewelers. Temple 195 rushing yards. They've done a good job picking up conversion on third down. 7.6 yards per play for this Temple offense today on average.
We knew coming in it was going to be an uphill battle for Wyoming to stop the running game of Temple, and they have certainly struggled in this game.
The Owls have it at their 35 of Wyoming, first down and 10. Poyer will keep it himself and gets it to the 31 before he's tripped up. And another marker down.
We've seen a number of dead ball, late hit, personal foul kind of penalties in the second half here on Wyoming. And Dave Christensen, a man of discipline, will not be happy with this defense losing its cool in the second half.
And Purcell is going to come right out.
Dead ball, personal foul. Number 50 on the defense. Illegal hands to the face. Number 50 is also ejected. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And he's going to have to go to the locker room. He is done for the day. Mike Purcell, the junior defensive tackle out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
And he was locked up at the end of that, and you know, that was not a punch, and it could be misconstrued as a punch, but that was a frustration trying to push the offensive lineman away from him, and a hand just getting up near the helmet area. I don't believe he intended to throw a punch in that situation. Tough break for Purcell. And it hurts Wyoming because he's their best defensive lineman.
Holding, 73 offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Now holding penalty on Wallace, the tackle for Temple. And not only their best D tackle, their biggest up there, 6'3", 286. He's a force. When he's having a good day, you know that he's there. And now he's out. He's been ejected for Wyoming. It's been a frustrating day, almost from the opening kick, because Temple marched that opening drive 90 yards, got on the board early, and Wyoming really hasn't been able to recover. First down and 20 after the penalty. It'll be Poyer, and he's going to be met immediately. The Zooms is there at the point of attack. This is going to be a loss of 2.
Back and take one more look at Purcell. Again, he's locked up there and he's getting driven back, and here's frustration. He just said, I'm going to push this guy away from me. That's not a punch. That's just a shove that gets caught up around the face mask, and Purcell knows, he didn't feel like that was a punch, but benefit of the doubt goes to the officials. If they see something, a lot of times they see it late, if there's any question, they are going to err on the side of protecting the players on the field.
Second down and 22. Coyer will throw it to Joe Jones. And he'll get some of that yardage back. Gets to the 20. Hendricks the stop. It's a gain of 9 for the Owls. Coyer, well over 200 yards of total offense today. 169 passing, 60 rushing.
That's pretty clear that Steve Addazio would like to build the future around Chris Coyer. And in order for him to do that, he's going to need to continue to be better throwing the football. And today was a big step for him, throwing the ball down the field vertically a couple of times accurately, giving this offense an opportunity to move the ball straight points.
That's going to be incomplete. Intended for Joe Jones. So fourth down, and the field goal unit comes out again. Temple, at one point, the program got so bad, it was asked to leave the Big East. The final year that Temple football played in the Big East was 2004. They spent a couple of years as an independent before the MAC picked them up when they were down. And there's a chance now that these Owls could end up back in the Big East. That's the rumor. This is a 37-yard field goal attempt for McManus. 34-7 now. We'll have more on Temple's future when we come back to Albuquerque. The Owls have scored on 6 of 7 possessions today, but you know what? He's still teaching. This is a fired-up individual.
He is building. He's not just worried about today. He's worried about the future of Temple football. Passion.
Well, the Owls are a few plays away from having a 10-win season. They had a tough loss against Penn State. They led most of the game, ended up losing that game 14-10. And another tough loss at Bowling Green, 13-10, the final there, where they were unable to score late. And another heartbreaker at Ohio, the Bobcats coming from behind in that game. Still a very good year. They could win 9 games.
Well, 3 of those 4 losses were by 4 points or less. And you see their record in the last 35 games. This is a team that's only 6 years from extinction.
Yep.
They were talking about extinction, and for them in 2009 they win 9 games. In 2010 they win 8 games in Al Golden's last year, and now looks like they're well on their way to winning 9 games again. So tremendous turnaround at Temple.
Bobbled by Miller. Dominic Roofran picks it up for Wyoming. Stiff arm steps out at the 30. That's where the Cowboys will have it with 12:38 to go here in the fourth quarter. The Big East looks like this in 2011, and a lot's going to change with this conference going forward. Potentially many changes when you look ahead a couple of seasons.
Syracuse, Pitt out to the ACC, West Virginia to the Big 12, TCU a short stay, they're going to the Big 12, and then you add in the 3 schools from Conference USA, Houston, South Florida, Central Florida, and then we're not going to teach our 3rd graders geography off of this Big East map, but San Diego State and Boise State joining. It's going to be interesting, and there's been a lot made, Clay, about where does Temple fit into this? With the renaissance that they've had in their football program, with the strength that they have in their basketball program, why is the Big East not interested in the Temple Owls? And I honestly don't have an answer for that. I think they should be.
4th largest media market in the country. They've got a great place to play. They play all their home games at the Lincoln Financial, the home stadium for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, and that map showed 10 teams, didn't include Navy, and there's a lot of momentum, and it looks like Navy's going to join. Don't know when, but they're interested in being a part. That would be 11 teams, and the Big East has been very clear that they want to get to 12 teams, have 2 6-team divisions, and have a championship game. So there may be a couple of more teams that look to join the Big East, and potentially Louisville may talk about joining the Big 12. So there's a lot that still needs to be decided.
Smith hit as he throws. The throw is short, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 28-yard line by Kevin Kroboff, who has filled the void left by the All-MAC 3 safety Jaquan Jarrett, who was a second-round pick of the Eagles last year.
This Temple defense continues to constrict on Brett Smith, not allowing him out of the pocket, nowhere to go. That pressure forced basically a punt down the middle of the field, and Kroboff the beneficiary of an interception, a third one of the day. I don't think Wyoming has seen a team quite like Temple from a physical standpoint running the football. They've certainly seen as good a defense, if not better, in the Boise State Broncos, but they have not seen the kind of physical football that Temple, that brand, they play.
Matt Brown gets the carry for Temple. You saw Dave Christensen putting his arm around Smith. Smith is a guy that he has a lot of confidence in, but he also knows that at times he's wet behind the ears. There's still a lot of room for improvement with that young man.
Well, such a competitor, and there's not any give up in his nature, and he is going to continue to stand in there and take whatever shots they're going to take and try to get his team down the field and win. But Dave Christensen understands that the future of Wyoming football is Brett Smith.
Over 200 rushing yards in 8 straight games for the Owls. It's Brown again. Let's get an update on Temple basketball now with Wendy.
Clay, thank you. We have a final now between Temple and Texas. Texas leading here 68-59 to Coven Brown, adding insult to injury. He finished with 23 points, and Texas wins by a final of 77-65.
All right, Wendy. Thank you very much. Fran Dunphy. You know, it's not easy replacing a legend, but that's what Fran has really done following John Chaney, the legendary coach at Temple for many years. A tough day-to-day for the Owls. And certainly the basketball team has a lot to look forward to as well. And these Owls here in Albuquerque ruling the day, 34-7, leading Wyoming. It's Brown again. Sean Gibson makes the tackle. It's a gain of 6. As the clock continues to run, it's only a matter of time, it would appear, before these Owls win their first bowl game in 32 years. Last year, this team was bowl eligible at 8-4, but they got snubbed.
Passed over, and you have to wonder if it's not the lingering effects of those talks about extinction and people thinking of Temple in a way that's not so flattering. But this is a team that's got much better.
38 offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Look at Coach Adasio. He's on the numbers right now. He understands this is an opportunity to set the tone for next year. He's thinking about the offseason program. He's trying to find players that have a never-say-die attitude and a killer instinct.
He doesn't need a coat when he's that hot around the collar. It's 40 degrees here at Albuquerque, and he's walking around in shirt sleeves. Bernard Pierce lowers his head one more time, gets it across the 45-yard line. And, you know, a lot of Temple fans are wondering if Bernard Pierce is going to come back. The junior from Ardmore, Pennsylvania, an All-American. One of the reasons that Temple's run game ranks 7th in the country this year, but he could declare for the draft.
Well, I think one of the things that has really been implemented that I like in the last couple of years is those surveys that you can do to get kind of what the NFL is looking at you as. Give me a sense of what they're thinking so I can make a decision on whether to come back or not. I really think that helps to make a good decision for guys like Bernard Pierce.
He almost broke one. Inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. That's a gain of 15. Bernard Pierce, 6 foot, 218 pounds, and he is solid. 127, make that 126 rushing yards per game. That's 6th in the country.
He doesn't have that great speed, but in the NFL, there is a place for backs that can make those tough yards and that have good vision and that don't turn the football over. And Bernard Pierce has definitely got those attributes.
Todd McShay thinks he could be a second-day pick come draft day. Jones will wrap up Pierce here. The biggest game that he had this season was that game against Maryland.
Yeah, he had a big game. And the one thing I will say, if you're a second-day pick, I would like to see guys come back to play their final season in college, unless they're a running back. Running backs take so many shots, and their shelf life is not as long as the other players. And Bernard Pierce now over 250 attempts on the year. He's had some injuries throughout his career, so he might be a guy where I would say, you know, it might be time to take it to the next level.
Ball is bobbled, and Coyer just hops on it. That'll bring up third down. Pierce had 5 touchdowns in that game against Maryland. He really came to the country's attention as a freshman. Maybe took a bit of a step back last year, but this year he has been outstanding from day one.
Well, yeah, last year goes back to the injuries. And, but I don't think there's any question that he is a back that can play in the National Football League. What'll be interesting next year, you see 54 career touchdowns, a new school record. But next year, if he does decide to go to the NFL, what will Steve Addazio do in his backfield? Still have Matt Brown,
That was called his second time out.
who's going to be a great back and a great change of pace, but they need a hammer like Pierce.
34-7 Owls. Bowl season is underway, starting here at the Gildan New Mexico Bowl. The next 3 bowl games coming your way on ESPN. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Ohio and Utah State. The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, San Diego State, Louisiana Lafayette. And FIU taking on Marshall. That will be the Beef O'Brady's Bowl Tuesday in St. Pete.
I like that anthem by Nelly. You like that anthem? Is that new? Yeah. We always have great anthem, great music on these games. Whoever picked that one, you got a big high five from me.
You're not allowed to make requests, though. I've been told that.
The radio station?
Yeah. Coyer sprints out, and nice job staying on his feet. Keeps it in bounds inside the 30 to the 28. He's run out by Anderson. It's a gain of 14 for Chris Coyer. And 6.5 minutes away here, Temple is going to win a bowl game, it would appear, barring something crazy happening. For the first time in 32 years. They won a bowl game in '79. That was against Cal in the Garden State Bowl, a bowl that no longer exists, obviously. And again, passed over last year, get back into the postseason, and under first-year head coach Steve Addazio, very impressive today against Wyoming. Handoff to Bernard Pierce. Takes it over the right side. Another late penalty flag. A helmet is off. And now flags all over the place. Perhaps some more unruly conduct down there. We've already seen one Wyoming player ejected.
We talked about the emotions for some of these players, the last game that they're ever going to play in their life. And when you go out in a fashion like this, 34-7, it gets frustrating, you get emotional, but you just can't have these kinds of things happen.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul, number 15 on the defense. The penalties decline. Personal foul, number 4 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, or half the distance to the goal. First down.
So the first one on Ben Durbin, the second on Tashawn Gibson. And it's frustration all around for Wyoming.
Yeah, and Tashawn Gibson, one of those players that a senior. He came up late. Just a frustration that's setting in, and Dave Christensen is can't be happy with the way that his seniors have played in this game, number one, but also with the way that they've lost their composure a little bit.
A running play for Brown. And a good one. And more flags. Dave Christensen, a lot of the Wyoming fans wondering if he's going to be leaving for greener pastures, but good news for them today.
Holding, 68 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Joe Shad reporting earlier today that Christensen has been awarded a 5-year contract extension in principle. The details haven't been released, but it looks like Christensen's going to be staying in Laramie.
Yeah, and that's great news for the Cowboy fans, and he certainly spent a little bit of time with Dave Christensen this week, and he is not only a great coach, but a great person and a great leader of men, and will shape and mold any young man that comes to Wyoming into a good person.
First and 20. Ryan Hendricks wraps up Matt Brown. 2-yard pickup.
He kind of took us through his chronology of learning as a player at the University of Washington under John James, and then spending time with Gary Pinkel in Missouri most recently, and learning the spread offense from Greg Brandon at Bowling Green, who he now has hired as the offensive coordinator at Wyoming. And so the future looks bright under Dave Christensen in the Mountain West. And he was telling us, you know, our goal is not just to compete in the Mountain West anymore. Now, having played the way we did this year, our goal is to win the Mountain West. So mindset has changed.
Second down at 18. Pierce continues to get work here late in this game, picks up 4 yards. Christensen probably made one of the best hires in the Mountain West Conference this year by hiring Greg Brandon as his offensive coordinator, a guy that he really knows very well.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as he said, you know, to compete for the Mountain West Championship, you got to think about, you know, TCU is no longer going to be in the conference. Boise State's going to be out of the conference in a couple of years. And so Wyoming, who finished third this year, will be one of those top-tier teams. They bring in, obviously, Fresno State, Hawaii, and Nevada, but there's no reason that Dave Christensen and the Wyoming Cowboys can't be the class or one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the Mountain West Conference as we go forward in this new conference alignment.
So the field goal unit will come out again, and it'll be McManus attempting a field goal. He's hit from 34 and 37. This also from 34. He's been perfect today. 37-7 Temple. Merry Christmas,
Santa
everyone.
Claus, yeah. Oh, of course he's T-balling.
Pierce, his 18th career 100-yard game, 9th this year. 25 carries, 100 yards, and a pair of scores.
Look at him today. He was just the hammer in this offense, and continually, this is the same play over and over, ladies and gentlemen. Just a power play right up the middle. Wyoming had no answer for him, and you hate to say it, but this was probably one of the easier running games for Bernard this season. But he'll take it. Come out of this season healthy, finally finishing a season healthy, and the Temple Owls record reflects that.
Maybe his last game in a Temple uniform, too. This is Cody Sutton on the run for the Cowboys. A New Mexico Bowl record today, 51 run plays by Temple. They went to their strength. And the passing game was good, too, though. 8 possessions. They scored 7 times, 4 touchdowns, 3 field goals. It was the run predominantly, as you would have expected, but really like the way they threw the ball, too, at times.
Yeah, you take out the Penn State game this year for Temple, and they did not attempt more than 20 passes in any game during the season. So their formula is pretty well documented.
Here's Smith out of the pocket, and he is going to be close to a first down, and he steps out of bounds. Brett Smith, it just hasn't been his day, the true freshman. Team MVP, a great leader, has a great future. The starter the last 2 years, Austin Carter Samuels, transferred, and Dave Christensen didn't know what he was going to do. This guy came out of nowhere and has been brilliant. It's just not been his day today.
No, the future looks bright for Wyoming again. They ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw today, but Brett Smith is going to be fine for the Wyoming Cowboys going forward.
And he's going to throw this away. So bring up second down. Clock stops with 2:16 to go. Adrian Robinson in hot pursuit on that one.
There's one thing I would say to protect himself a little bit, because those kinds of stats leading the Mountain West Conference in yards, you can only do that if you're healthy.
Second and down, he'll throw it to Stratton. And we're coming up on 2 minutes.
Coach is going to wish he had that jacket on.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's cold now, isn't it?
See how tough he is now.
Right. Exactly. Hard to look tough when you got ice coming down your back. It's 40 degrees outside.
Not only that, but they did it right around the 2-minute mark, so he's got a little while to marinate there on the sideline.
Steve Adazio. Cody Sutton, big run here for Wyoming. Continuing to play hard, and he'll bang his way to the 30-yard line. Nicknamed Smooty.
You got that in.
Yes, I did. Cody Sutton wants to be called Smooty from here on out. 22-yard carry there. 1:30 to go. No, Steve Adazio is fun to talk to, too. We've enjoyed our week here in Albuquerque talking with the coaches. And it's going to be a win for Temple. Monday Night Football on ESPN 8:30. Steelers and 49ers. Ben Roethlisberger hoping that he can get out there and play well. He's got an ankle injury right now he's trying to overcome. The 49ers, they're already on their way to the postseason. That's on Monday Night Football. And Smith get a couple more there.
Well, and you mentioned Coach Adazio and how much fun we had with him this week. But the thing that really sticks with me from what he said is, you know what, I coach my players hard, and I love them hard at the same time. And really, that's the essence of coaching. And I think you see how much his players love him and respect him. But at the same time, he can have the kind of discipline that he needs to have a good football team.
Remember when we were talking with him this week about the run game in particular, and the O-line he has that is so big, averages 6'5", 318 pounds. He said, wow, that's great. I mean, you inherited a big, strong offensive line. He goes, you know what? They're big and strong, but I had to toughen them up. You know, they needed to be rounded into shape, and boy, he did it. And really opened up a lot of holes for Pierce and Brown. 48 seconds away from winning a bowl game. Temple University. Haven't done it since '79. Don't forget, coming up, Ohio and Utah State. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. That's next on ESPN. There is Smith in all kinds of trouble back there, dancing around. 4th down, Wyoming.
Well, and you got to give credit to the entire coaching staff of Temple for the kind of job that they did this year, and the fast start that they had, dismantling the Maryland Terrapins. Then they lose 3 out of 5 in the MAC, and they kind of go the opposite direction, and then as everybody's going to get a bath. But then they finish strong, and that's great coaching. It's great effort by these players.
10 seconds to go. The Temple Owls. Going to get their 9th win of the season.
Wyoming's called their second timeout.
As Wyoming will call one more timeout. They're going to try and get one in the end zone here. Leave with a good taste in their mouth.
I tell you, nobody on the Temple sideline minds them calling a timeout, because they just love to sit and enjoy this win. Any bowl win is great for the seniors. It's great for the team. It's great for the program. And just a couple more seconds for these seniors to enjoy it.
This will be the first win for Temple this season against an opponent with a winning record. But like we said before, that's a little deceiving, because they almost had Penn State beat. They destroyed Maryland on the road. really did finish strong. Likely the final play of this game. Smith will throw it out to the flat. And this is going to be a touchdown, so the timeouts pay off. Cody Sutton goes in from 14 yards out. And the Cowboys fans who made the trip down to Albuquerque are very appreciative.
No quit. What did we say? No quit. This team has a lot of heart, and they take a lot. I wouldn't be surprised they go for 2 right here. They
probably will.
Score as many points as they possibly can.
A touchdown for Smoody Sutton. He's got bleached hair under that helmet.
The honey badger nickname was taken, so
he went with Smoody instead.
I still don't know what that means.
Smoody or honey badger? And they are going to go for 2. Smith throws to the end zone. It is tipped. Intended for Akbana. And a penalty marker is down.
Akbana got held. This could be pass interference on Johnson, the Mike linebacker.
That touchdown pass by Smith, the most by a freshman this year in the country.
Pass interference. 53 on a defense. Replay the down.
I'll get another crack at that 2-point conversion.
It's cold.
It's unbelievable.
It's cold. He had that shower about 7-8 minutes ago, and it's pretty soon ago freezing on his back.
You gotta love coaches. You know, about ready to walk away a bowl champion, and he's still disappointed in his guys at times. Everything has to be perfect. And here is Smith. He will take it in for the 2-point conversion.
I'm glad to see Brett Smith have something positive happen at the end of this game. He's been beaten and bruised and battered most of the day. Call a timeout, flip a screen out to Sutton and let him do the rest, and Wyoming can at least leave here with a good taste in their mouth.
20th touchdown pass this year for Smith. Most by a freshman quarterback this year.
Well, that's saying something when you break Andy Dalton's records. Even though his freshman records, if you put Brett Smith up against all of the veteran quarterbacks in the Mountain West, he still stacks up well against guys like Kellen Moore and some of those guys that have been around for a while. He's got a little bit more to learn, some decision making and throwing the football, but all in all, you can learn how to play the position of quarterback. You can't learn how to be a competitor and a fierce guy like Brett Smith is.
Well, the BCS Bowl picture, 5 games. Of course, LSU and Alabama, the national title game presented by Allstate. What stands out in the other 4 games?
Well, the Oklahoma State-Stanford game will be interesting. Oklahoma State's coming off of a huge win against Oklahoma. Their coach is the coach of the year in college football, and they're riding high. They're probably disappointed they're not in the national title discussion, but they shouldn't sleep on Stanford. And Andrew Luck's last game, they are going to be ready for Oklahoma State. Stanford's got a good enough defense. That's a game that I think will be very interesting on January 2nd.
This will be the final play. Temple wins the 2011 Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. The final 37-15. A dominating performance from start to finish for Steve Adazio's Owls.
Well, and congratulations. Just really, after being where they were as a program 6 years ago to now the last 3 years win 9, 8, and 9 games. Congratulations to Steve Adazio, and maybe he will turn some heads in the Big East, but the Temple Owls' future looks bright.
Pierce, a 100-yard rushing day, 255 yards rushing in all for Temple. Coyer was good, passed for 169 and a touchdown. Let's go down to Steve Adazio.
Coach, what does a 9-win season and win this bowl game help with Temple football in the national scene?
Well, I mean, I'm just real happy for our seniors. You know, they came out of here with their 31st win, 9th win of the season. This is the 2nd bowl win in the history of the school, first since 1979. And I'm real proud of our seniors. We beat a really good football team here in Wyoming. Our kids wanted to play really strong down the stretch right here. They did that. Our program rallied, our administration, and I'm just real proud of our kids right now. And I want them to enjoy this moment.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Soaking it in down there. He is proud of his Owls. They are Philly tough.
Well, and those 31 wins by the seniors, more than any other senior class in the history of Temple. Congratulations to them.
It'll be interesting to see if Pierce comes on back next season for the Owls. Steve Adazio certainly hopes so. Once again, from Albuquerque, our final score from University Stadium, 37-15 Temple. Coming up next, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. It'll be Ohio and Utah State. The trophy ceremony on ESPN3 here from Albuquerque. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For our entire ESPN crew, Brian Greasy and Jessica Mendoza, I'm Clay Matvick saying, enjoy the rest of bowl season. Now let's send you back to the studio in Windy Days.